Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to all of you here in chat, all of you early comers. I appreciate you all so much. I really do. My name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the daily stream here at BitLab Academy. I just want to shout out all the people that are in here early. Man, we've got a lot of people just showing up on time, ready to go. And this is what I'm talking about. People that are ambitious, eager to learn, eager to be a part of a community that's growing within the space and helping basically support encouragement and empowerment and knowledge and growing into the next phase of the market cycles here in the crypto ecosystem. So shout out to Alex Green. For those of you that don't know, Alex Green is on staff with us here at BitLab Academy. Started just here in chat, just being super helpful, and, you know, migrated his way into being a part of our team. So really special shout out to Alex Green. He works all day. And then when he finishes his work with his regular job, he and I are on the phone on a Zoom meeting, Skype, huddles, trying to work through getting the new BitLab launched, which I'm so excited about. Oh my gosh, so much coming there. But before we get going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. And again, I want to shout out Alex Green, Taylor Brown. Who else we got in here? Karen Swigart Harris, always in the house. Alexandra G. Who else we got in here? Let's see, Learning, Scott Rod 17, Tenacious B, one of our winners from yesterday. How are you doing? I sent you all the info this morning to get you in on that. And the winner I'm talking about, if you have not yet, come over to BitLab Academy's Twitter page, which is right here at Academy BitLab, as you can see right here. Make sure you come in, retweet this. This gives you the opportunity to win. You know, we're going to be, I'm not going to tell you which day, but we're going to be drawing people from the people that help support this stream, because that means you're helping the community grow. That means you're helping people learn in the space about what's going on in crypto, so that there's a healthier space, because more people will know how to navigate it. And also, we can all be bastions of knowledge. We could be sources. We could be seeds with all our friends and family and people we talk to in coffee shops. So when they have you know, necessarily ignorant or ill-informed sort of pieces of knowledge that they heard on some news narrative put out by a bank about Bitcoin or crypto, when you're here in BitLab Academy, you learn the truth about what's happening within the markets. You learn how to navigate that. So come over here, retweet this, be active here in the community, in the chat. We're trying to really drive a very empowering and encouraging and tied together community. So where are you from? Where are you tuned in from today? We got people from all over the world. When was the first month and year that you bought crypto? What was the first crypto you bought? And what crypto have you not bought yet that you're waiting for that moment? Let me know in chat, whether you're here live or you're watching later, or if you're watching over on the HIT Network. Shout out to everybody at the HIT Network. Make sure that you definitely head over to bitlabacademy.com, which is that link right below my face, right down here, all the appropriate socials. And we're just going to jump into it today. Shout out to everybody that is here. We've currently got 61 concurrent viewers, only 33 likes. Let's get these likes up. If we get our likes over 200 likes during the stream, I will give a 3-month free membership to BitLab Academy. So get those likes. You've got to also come over to the BitLab Academy Twitter and retweet this to be a part of that. So what's going on? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? What do you think those interest rates are going to be? Do you think the Fed, do you think Jerome Powell is going to come in at the expected 25 basis points? Do you think he's going to pivot? Do you think he's going to pause here, meaning no interest rate hikes because the banking collapses? Do you think they're going to stick to that 2% inflation target? Do you think they're going to come in more hawkish with the 50-point basis hike to knock it out of the way, and then 30 minutes later at the press conference, come in very dovish and say, this is our last rate hike? There's so many possibilities about what can happen today. And I want to urge every single person that is in this room to make sure, if you are, and I said this yesterday, if you are an emotional trader, today is not the day that you trade, because the market is going to be a wild whipsaw back and forth. There's going to be volatility coming into the decision at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's going to be immediate volatility afterwards. There's going to be some, either if it drops, there's going to be some buyback back up and then maybe continuation to the downside. If it pumps, there'll be an explosive pump and then a pullback that gets people to go short and get scared. And then it might be a continuation to the upside. Today is not the day to jump in and make your first big trade if you don't have an established plan and a track record of experience dealing with the normal state of volatility in the market. Today is a huge day for the markets. And I know it feels like that. It feels like that could be said every single day. But the truth is today is major because all these bank collapses. And I pointed this out yesterday. We're seeing bank stock prices just drop through the roof while Bitcoin's going up. We're seeing news. Let me see if I can pull it up while I'm also talking. There was also news yesterday that came out that was, we kind of knew it was moving in that direction. That here it is right here. And is this news right here? USD is likely going to see some more pressure to the downside because Russia is just basically announced that they are to use Chinese yuan instead of US dollars to settle trade in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. So if we're not already seeing a tumultuous sort of environment within the markets, this also puts pressure on the US dollar, the US dollar reserve, right? The US dollar reserve currency of the world, meaning this has sort of been the backstop, the preferred, and actually I don't want to call it the preferred because a lot of people don't prefer it, but the most used asset to weigh the value of different things against in the world, oil being the primary one. But as Russia is moving into use the Chinese yuan as their essentially tradable currency that they're trading, with on the other half of the world, and how big China is, how big their economy is as it relates to the economy, the GDP of the world. Similarly, Russia. Okay, this can have major impacts down the line. It might not happen immediately, but this does have something we need to take into consideration. So, coming back straight to my face right here. If you have not yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Ding the bell so you get notified when we're going live. So, what are we doing today? The thumbnail, supercycle, crypto supercycle. Well, of course, today is going to be marred with volatility. Now, this can be terrible depending on what your directional bias is. What's a directional bias? A directional bias is when you just have a feeling innately that the market is going to go this way, and you don't allow yourself to prepare for, basically plan for the best and prepare for the worst. Okay, if you have a directional bias and you absolutely are certain markets are going up, likelihood is the markets will go down against you, and you're not going to be prepared. So, if you are a bull and the markets explode, wonderful. If you are a bear and the markets drop, wonderful. The truth is, all of us have different directional biases at different points in the market. And sometimes we forget to be prepared because we're so sure about something that we don't set ourselves up for success because we don't practice good and healthy risk management. So the super cycle that I'm discussing, that I'm talking about, is when we come over here, to my screen, is this sort of push up when we get the established low. Of course, this was the global economic shutdown right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my face so you can see the full chart. When we see the established low here after that capitulation from 6,000 down to 3,500, and then we had that initial bullish pump. The breakdown, basically pre-halving pump, the breakdown, we had the global economic shutdown March of 2020, and then we had, multi-100% rally into the this last bull market cycle's all-time high. We want to be prepared for the majority, the meat of this move. We do not need the market bottom. We do not need the market tops when we are trying to be consistently profitable traders over time. What we need is an established track record. We need an established track record that is informed by a healthy and useful and effective strategy that we stick to over time. So we don't need to nail this portion of the market right here at the very bottom of this. We need to establish something in this region here. Similarly, we are coming into these same sort of zones, looking at the market where we're at right now. Now, I made this chart in, I guess, January 23rd of 2023, which was, I guess, January 29th of 2023, which was about 2 months ago now. And at this point, we've had this push up. We've had this sort of pullback. The question is what's going to happen now, especially on a day like today? And does it mean that if we get a pullback today that the bull market's over? Does it mean that this rally is over? Does it mean that if we get a pivot by the Fed today or a pause by the Fed today, does it mean that any push today means that we're all up and away from here? None of these things are true. What we need to do in these markets, in every market, is remain adaptable to new information and be willing to adjust our strategy accordingly over time and at a moment's notice. And in order to be able to do that, we need to have a plan of action for both directions. And we went over a lot of different targets yesterday. But what I'm talking about today and what I really want everybody to really dive into today is get involved in this chat, get involved in that like button, get involved in the subscribe button, ding that bell, because what we're talking about today is a strategy required to get involved with profits into this next bull run, into this next potential super cycle. Now, we had a somewhat truncated cycle this last bull market where we didn't quite reach the numbers, the levels in price that a lot of people were expecting. Now, some would argue that the market tends to disappoint the majority of people most often. So if everybody was expecting $100,000 or the majority, we got nowhere near that. How can we prepare this time if we are starting to establish a bull market? How can we prepare for getting set up to take advantage of the majority of this next bull run? Now, in addition to all of this, if we come over to Bitcoin, where is Bitcoin? If we come over to Bitcoin, we're going to come over here. We're going to go to the 3-day chart, go to auto. We zoom out here. I'm going to delete a bunch of these. This is from when I was recording a bunch of videos for the BitLab Academy. Delete. So we can see that this sort of had this rounding top. And what would you say, anybody that's been in the market, since 2015, 2016, 2017, and even if you haven't, anybody in the chat, if you have eyeballs, click the like button, because if you have eyeballs, what I have preached and ears, or eyeballs to, you can even read the captions. Maybe you didn't hear this. Maybe you saw it on captions because you have a hearing disability. There's people with all different sort of states in this market with different skill sets, with different abilities, but we all have the ability to open up a chart like TradingView like this. And when we see it, how do we draw conclusions as to what's likely to come next? Well, we see this had a very rounding top. What is a rounding top? This is basically showing that momentum is waning over time. Likely reversal is going to occur. We also have the lower high there from the previous high here. What's different about this right here than the previous bull market top? Well, we could see this, boom, up and then down. Similarly, if we come back, up and then down. Similarly, boom, up and then down. So we have blow off tops. These are what blow off tops are, is when markets have extreme, basically large, strong bull markets that go into extreme hype cycles. Now, what are hype cycles? Hype cycles are something that you don't want to be involved in the buy side of. You want to be involved in the buy side of the fear cycles, which are way down here, so that you can sell to hype buyers. This right here, we did have some hype cycle nature here, but this also, we're seeing maturity come into the market. We're seeing people start to take profits into certain levels. We're also seeing a very different economic situation in this zone right here, where we were at in the market globally than we were right here. In that, we had the global economic shutdown of March of 2020 right here. We had a lot of quantitative easing that really fueled all of this right here. And people are getting smart to how Bitcoin and crypto tie into the global economy. So that means seeing quantitative easing coming in, seeing the economic winds starting to shift, having more institutional and basically smart money investors within this space. In this basically from here forward into eternity than we've ever had into the past. We're seeing people be able to understand that they have data available to them that can help them prepare to take profits so that they can protect the capital that they earned, that you are earning, that you will earn going into the next bull run. So you can be somebody that buys into fear in accumulation zones and sells into people buying the hype. And that's what we want to prepare for. Today's decision is going to bring volatility into the markets. Today's decision from Jerome Powell, from the Fed, the FOMC that was yesterday and today here in the US, is going to have a huge impact on the midterm and smaller time frames. But we have to remember, on Bitcoin, we have a future ahead of us, regardless of what happens. There is a provably programmed supply, fixed supply, 21 million. There's a schedule every 210,000 blocks. The supply of inflation that comes in, which is the reward to miners, gets halved. That's why we have these cycles. And that's why we can understand what the inflation rate is with Bitcoin. And that's why, even though today, regardless of what Jerome Powell and the Fed do, we may get a pullback. We may get pullback to this region right here in the $25,000 range. We may fall through it. We may just rocket up to this levels up here in the $34,000 range and then get a pullback. There's no telling what could happen. But what could happen in the long term, and what will inevitably happen, whether it's up, down, and then continuation, or further down, very long sideways accumulation, regardless of any of this, we are going to have upside into the future. I cannot say with 100% certainty because the world could absolutely end tomorrow. But in terms of understanding this, the sort of principles of finance and supply and demand, and that demand is unequivocally going up with Bitcoin over time. The adoption rate is still so early, and supply is reducing on a fixed schedule. There's no other asset in the history of mankind that has these principles. Bitcoin will be going up over time. So regardless of what happens today, can we be prepared? Can we be prepared for and set up for that next super cycle where we do break past previous all-time highs and set new highs? On what time frame is that going to be? Nobody can tell. We can use historical analysis to get ourselves in position to make to basically take advantage of the most basically the meat of the rally. What do I mean by the meat of the rally? Same thing I was pointing out earlier. We don't need to get in at the absolute bottom. We just need to take advantage of the majority of this as we can and get out somewhere where the data, not the price, somewhere where the data gives us the indication that maybe it's time to take some profits. This is for the longer term macro swing traders, taking advantage of the data that's available. We're going to go through some of that data today. We're also going to be looking at a bunch of charts. So go ahead, spam the chat right now. Let me know what charts you're looking at. Let me know what charts you want to see perform better than Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, the world is going to move eventually towards a Bitcoin standard, a Bitcoin, whether it's a world reserve currency or not. Gold is not a world reserve currency, but it is an absolute considered hedge against monetary debasement. It is a known store of value. Bonds have historically also been safe assets to invest in U.S. treasuries. But what are we seeing now? What are we seeing right now? Why are banks failing? Because these previously thought to be safe assets to invest in, these banks have been investing in treasury, 2-year, 10-year, 30-year bonds, treasuries, gold. Now, gold is still performing well, but you know what? Bitcoin is performing, I think, around 10x to what gold is right now. But what's not performing well is all these safe havens that these banks have been investing in are now devalued because of the monetary policy, because of quantitative tightening, because of social media also making light of these things. People are becoming aware All of this stuff is becoming more transparent. And you know what's already transparent? For people that don't understand on-chain data, I'm here to help walk you through it because I tie on-chain data to understand the macro into what we're doing in technical analysis, so we can use on-chain data to look ahead about what might likely happen. So then with using technical analysis as well to predict moves, we can then go into the smaller time frames and execute on those trades. We have a full vision of what's going on because with on-chain data, we're able to see what the smart money's doing. We don't need to wait for the quarterly earnings reports to see how our stocks are doing or what sort of narrative shaped and likely misleading newsletters to shareholders these different publicly traded companies put out annually. No, we can look to on-chain data and see in basically real time what behavior is happening from who, adoption rates, transaction fees, what smart money is doing, what dumb money is doing, where hype's coming in, where it's not, if we're near a market bottom, if we're near market top. So we're going to tie this data together and use it to form a strong tool belt, an effective tool belt so that we can engage with this market. So I think we need to get going. If this is your first time here, my name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Go ahead and follow me on social media. And where you can find me right here at Kelly Kellum. You can see right here. You can also see it right here. We're going to be going through some stuff on the charts. But before we dive into the charts, I do want to point out, because everybody wants to know, what's going to happen today? What is the Fed going to do? Well, that should not be the question. The question should be, what are the likelihood... In the event of X, Y, or Z, what are the three different possibilities about how the markets may likely respond? So let's go ahead and go through something that I found from Alex Kruger, which I thought was an excellent sort of outlay of this. And this is Alex Kruger. You can find at Kruger Macro, and essentially says, number one, minus 25 basis points. Now, this would be a pivot from the Fed. This would be going back into basically reducing the interest rates, doing a cut on the interest rates. This, he thinks, and again, none of this is financial advice. This is sharing different ideas, strategies, and concepts about what is likely. And he's suggesting that if we get a reduction of 25 basis points, which would be 0.25% of the interest rates, which is what has been squeezing banks, which is why banks have been failing. If we get a reduction in interest rates, very strong trend, likely Bitcoin to 40K very fast. If we get basically 0 basis points, and he's saying this is about a 3% chance. If we get 0 basis points, which would be a pause by the Fed, this would be very bullish for market. I mean, this would be very, very bullish for markets, except this would be kicking the can down the road and likely have something. This would lead to further inflation over time because there's going to be more money printing, and we're not really addressing. We're trying to address. Right now, we're currently trying to address a mouse in the room versus the elephant in the room. And that's sort of the argument here as to what the Fed should do and why. And there's no easy answer for any of this. So the second one here is if there's a 0 basis point, which is the first pause in I think over a year or so, no interest rate hike, 37% chance he thinks. Strong trend bull is going to break up into those 30s to $34,000 range, as I had pointed out before. If we get the 25 basis point hikes, now this is what, if we come over here, CME markets, CME FedWatch tool, we can see it's basically about 86% sort of chance that's coming from basically futures traders, which tend to be pretty accurate, taking in a lot of a wide variety of data to sort of extrapolate and sort of give insight as to where they think the market's going to go. And so most people are thinking that we're going to still get that 25 basis point hike. Now, of course, this would be a hike, but remember, the markets are forward looking. The markets are not trading on the news only of today. So this will be the news of today for sure, but this has been something that has been discussed and speculated on for a good period of time. I just want to make sure. Shout out to Tom Crown. What's up? We got to get you on the show sometime soon, my friend. So we're seeing here the 25 basis point hike likely. Now, of course, this is a hike, but this is, again, markets are forward looking. This has been something people have been waiting for. So again, as I've said before, and I've said many times, today, this is what I think we are going to see. It may be down, then up, then back down. It may be up, then down, then back. Either way, if we get a 25 basis point hike, it is something that's been priced in. Do not emotionally trade the market today. If you don't already have a plan in place, today's strategy is to sit on the sidelines and let the trend be your friend. Currently, we are going to be in a very choppy zone today, most definitely from roughly, I would say, around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way till about probably the close of today, but most specifically 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to around 3:30 or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The market is going to be trying to find its footing. So we need to be patient. We need to be okay with being on the sidelines. We need to be okay with not having, it's not a drug where you need to get that hit and get in there and take the trade. And don't do that. You're going to end up donating your money to somebody else that's a better trader that has a plan, and you're going to help them build their deck. You're going to help them build their, basically buy a new boat. Be patient. Patience, especially in a choppy market when we do not have a fully defined trend yet, especially on a day like today, when the market is teetering on the edge of a cliff, and you don't know if this edge of a cliff is a cliff down to your death or a cliff to the start of a roller coaster ride. So roller coaster rides are fun, death, not so much. Let's be patient. Let's see how this plays out. Now, the other possibility that he doesn't have here is a potential 50 basis point hike, and which I think is a lot less likely. But, all these things also come with the caveat of once this basis point gets brought in, once the decision is released to the public at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we still have a 30-minute window of crazy chop, maybe continuation, right? Say it comes in at 25 basis point hike or 50 basis point hike, and the market's dropping. But then at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the press conference, then he comes out very dovish and says, "This is our last hike. We're gonna, we're adjusting our target for the time being to a higher instead of a 2% target. We know that as things are, we can only expect this year to bring the inflation down to 3.6% or whatever it is." The point is, the market moves not only on the data that they share, the market is going to move more because this is going to give them insight as to what's happening into the future. The market is going to have a different sort of outlook as to what the narrative is based on the questions asked and the answers given that will give investors, traders, institutions, some sort of lens into where the markets and what the policies and what the monetary sort of decisions are going to be into the future, because the market's forward looking. So we need to see what that Fed FOMC interest rate hike is. And then we need to see what the narrative is that they shape around it. So with that being said, shout out to everybody in chat. We've got such a full room here right now. This is wonderful. 264 concurrent viewers. We only have 111 likes. Let's get this over 200 likes, and I will give away 3 months free subscription to the BitLab Academy courses, which, by the way, we have so many new courses and over 100 new lessons coming. A little sneak peek, if you will, if you want to see. Just a little sneak peek of the new website that we are be rolling out. We've got so much stuff coming, so many courses, on-chain data analysis, trading fundamentals, psychology of trading, trading strategies, candles, candle patterns, Bitcoin 101, Ethereum 101. We've got so much coming. So if you haven't yet, head over to bitlabacademy.com. This is the old website, but it will, once you see this website updated with the new website, that means the new courses will be rolling out. And we are going to be having a beta tester program just to make sure we don't have any issues. And that's going to be rolling out in, I think, only a matter of a couple days. And once that beta testing is done, then it's going to be available to everybody. But get in now, because the prices will be going up. So take advantage of the lower prices right now. And if you come over here, if you go to get started today, if you put in relaunch 15 down on the chart, sorry, down on in the cart, this page is, there we go. Come down right here to have a coupon, type in relaunch 15, press apply, and you will get an additional 15% off. And everybody that joins before the updates go live and before the prices go up, you get to keep this price for the lifetime of your account. So let's talk about some charts. Let's talk about the data. Let's talk about what's going on within the markets. So first things first, we're talking about the potential Bitcoin supercycle. Bitcoin bull run. Bitcoin, how do we take advantage of the most profits? Well, first off, again, patience, planning, confluence, strategy, sticking to your plan, risk management, sticking to your plan of risk management. All these things are required for you to possibly see a regular return of, basically a regular profit on your trades. You can ask Tom Crown. Tom Crown has a great channel. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. He does trading regularly on his show. He'll tell you. I'm sure he's lost a ton of money. I've lost a ton of money in the space, but it wasn't until I was patient and I stuck to my plan. And even if a stop was hit and it continued in the direction I thought it was going to go, when you have a plan, you stick to it. So we're going to look forward into the market today. And despite the volatility that's coming into the markets today, we are going to make sure that we can see if there's any indications about where we're at in the market and how we can be set up for that accumulation for our own bags so that we could take advantage of the meat of the market. So first things first, coming over to looknode.com, free on-chain data site. Check it out. They do have a paid version as well. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I like sharing tools with y'all. This is a on-chain data metric that I actually created, and they've integrated on here. This is the TrendFIB opportunity zone. So what we're looking at right now, see where this the Bitcoin price, we have these bands. All these bands are fib multiples of the realized price. And we can see if we scroll down here a little bit, we can see where we're at right now. This price is pushed up above this band right here. And this band right here is the hope zone. We have entered the hope zone. We have entered the hope zone of this market. And if we look at where this is in previous markets, we can see, again, look at where we're at right over here. You can see where this, once we break, of course, we had this, once we broke above it here, we had strong bullish action until we came down. Once we broke back below it, we had the global economic shutdown. Okay, these are black swans. But on this, we see the price come down and tap right around the long-term holder realized price, which is what? Also the LTHRP. If you see it towards the top here, this is this is a known accumulation zone that is proven historically to be great entries for setting up for the next bull run. So this came down into that zone. Now, once we broke above this capitulation on the downside or hope zone on the upside, once we broke above this, look at this. This entry would have given us the capitulation hope zone there is $7,000. That would have given you an entry somewhere all the way from $7,000 essentially up to $64,000, depending on where you took profit in this region here. Now, in this case here, we have broken above the short-term holder realized price. And as we have seen on this chart, and I've shown you on other streams here, if we turn off we turn off every other band, what can we see here? Turn off the floor band, bull control, generational buy. We can see here that once price action breaks above the short-term holder realized price, this has proven to be an excellent zone, excellent support going into basically a trend signal line coming all the way up until we break below it. Once we broke below it, this has been a bear market resistance. Now where we're at, if we come back all the way over to where we're at here, broke below it, look at this, resistance, bear trend. We have not only broken above this zone, we have also come down and retested this. So on the macro, looking at the macro signals, we'll have volatility today, yes. So I'm warning you on the bearish side of things, if we do get a bearish retest of some levels, this is why I say if you're an emotional trader, you need to maybe sit some of the price action out today. If you don't have a plan already in place, then that means your plan is to sit on the sidelines today. The macro trend is showing us that we're getting into these zones. We're getting above the capitulation hope zone. We're coming up towards the bull floor band. We see once we break above this is very strong price action. Coming back over here, similarly, if you want to be a little more conservative, once we broke above this, solid bullish action. Now, going into other charts, we can see also the MVRV score. This is a market value to realized value. Now, again, remember this chart that I created, the Bitcoin TrendFIB opportunity zone. All these bands are based on the realized price. Now, coming over here to the MVRV, similarly, what this is doing, this is not my chart. This is basically taking a measurement of the speculative price, which is this price action that you see when you're looking at exchanges, when you're looking at the price here. This is a speculative price. This is a market value. Okay, when we're looking at that, how far is the price in relationship to the realized price? Now, again, the realized price is the aggregate total of all Bitcoin in circulation the last time it was moved. So it's showing essentially the realized price. What's the average price of every coin the last time it was sold? Okay. So this is showing you how far price is moving away from that realized price moving average. And when we get very far, lots of standard deviations away from the realized price, we see these overheated zones, which also correlate with market cycle tops. But we're trying to prepare for a bull market. We're trying to prepare for good accumulation for that bull market. We see when this comes down into these green zones, this has been proven that this is showing that the price action is coming very close to or below the realized price, which has marked excellent accumulation zones. We're seeing this here, even here, this tapped it right here on the global economic shutdown. And where we're at right now, we had long periods on the MVRV Z-score. We had a good portion of accumulation, but what we can see, if we scroll in just a little bit, we have broken out of this zone, come back, retested it. Now we are pushing up. Now going on to this next chart, just to give you guys a clearer picture of the realized price, this is that realized price that I was talking about. And the MVRV Z-score is the price and the separation from that, or the deviation below it. That's what this Z-score is measuring. This is what that's measuring, because you're seeing if you're very overheated or undervalued. Now, coming to this next chart, long-term holder supply. My nose is itching today. Sorry about that. This is showing the smarter money in the space, people with longer term conviction, and essentially people with longer term conviction on the charts also provide stability to the charts, because if you have longer term vision on the charts, you're also not going to have as much of reaction to small volatility within the price action. So as you can see, long-term holders, AKA smarter money, is accumulating into the downtrend. And you see, once they've finished their accumulation, we see it starting to either plateau or roll over. And this rollover is also marked by when price action is going up. Why is this? It's because they're taking profits into the strength of retail hype buyers more and more as it gets to the top. And as this gets to the top, you're having a weaker top. You're having weaker stability at these price levels because you have weaker hands that all these long-term holders have distributed their coins into the weak hands. So what we're seeing right here, we're seeing a lot of accumulation. We've had this plateau effect. We've had a very interesting bear market in 2022 because of everything going on global economically, global politically, all these things combined. But we are seeing, as we've seen this plateau effect, a little more accumulation, but we want to keep an eye on what's happening here. We can even see long-term holder position change. What we want to see here is we're seeing a lot of distribution into this, basically taking profits. We want to see a little bit of stability here right now. Short-term holders, we want to see where's short-term holder position change. We want to see, we are seeing a lot of people starting to buy. We're seeing retail come in, which is what we need. We need retail coming in, but we also want to have some institutions come in. It'd be great if we had an ETF come in. It'd be great. Fidelity, by the way, Fidelity is an excellent, they just opened up Bitcoin and some other crypto trading in their platform for their users. So there are some on-ramps there are some things that are very bullish about what's coming on into Bitcoin right now. So we want to take advantage of all the data that's available to us. Now, the next thing we want to look at here is addresses with over 1,000 Bitcoin. They've still been in decline. Does this mean everybody's satiated? Well, we're starting to see that tick up here, but just like with traditional TA on price action, we can see a trend line. I can just visualize a trend line right here when, if there's going to be any sort of push up on the price action, if there's going to be any sort of push up here that gets any sort of a drawback, and we find it's basically bulls coming in, defending this level that was a gateway, truly. I mean, this massive downtrend resistance was a big deal that we broke out of it, but we got rejection. We got rejected. We double tested this. That's wonderful. But then this level right here, this $25,000 level, really was, a strong gateway to what's happening with bull market continuation. Now, we will get a pullback at some point. And what everybody needs to be aware of is markets move like this, whether it's up or to the downside. Up. So as we're pushing up here, this is on the 3-day. If we come to the daily, we want to take notice that we have this push up right here. We are at a sort of critical zone. We zipped right through this area, right to the previous price action lows. We could see right here, we've got a little bit of a bearish structure. If we actually zoom in on this further, the 4-hour ascending channel or an ascending wedge, a rising wedge, depending on how you want to look at it. But to me, all of this right now is somewhat, I don't want to say null and void, but there's so much importance as to everything happening right here with the price action as to what the Fed's decision is today. Now, following the decision and following the press conference, we want to take heavy note as to the price action here. Does this whipsaw to the downside and then immediately get bought back up and then continue to the upside like this? Let's go ahead and turn this color orange, because this would actually be bullish if this were to come down, get bought up on this high volume node, and then continue and break through this level. Very bullish. Or is this going, come here. Okay. Or is this going to break down here, have maybe a small pivot, and then lose this level, coming down to this golden pocket zone that we had from before? Also a lot of price action. This would be a little more bearish because it'd be losing a sort of critical level that we broke through, this 25 level. The other option, of course, is this just going to moon up, get a little bit, I'm not even going to continue from there. I'll leave it like that because I don't want to do moon boy stuff. These are sort of like the 3 levels that I'm seeing today as a potential possibilities. Let's make that green because this is what I'd like to see. But in any event, what we want to see is when whatever direction we get, we want to watch what's happening with on-chain data to see if, like, for instance, addresses with over 1,000 on the push up and then subsequent pullback. Whether we get a pullback now or we get a push up and a pullback, are we going to see large wallets increasing? Are we going to see accumulation? Are we going to see long-term holder supply increase at these levels? We can utilize all this data to formulate what our vision is as to the likelihood of that super cycle, the likelihood of coming back over here to my chart here. This is that sort of pullback that I'm talking about, coming back into the $25,000 range, potentially down to the $23,000 range. Dropping things, I don't know what I dropped. So that's what we want to. I dropped my phone, and that's okay. That's what we want to look to. And we need to be prepared for this volatility today. So we're going to go through a bunch of technical analysis now. I want everything going on in the chart. So again, everybody be spamming. I don't want to say spam. Throw in some of the coins you're looking at that, and let's see how your portfolio, let's see how these assets are setting up going into the decision that's later this afternoon. Let's see if you're setting up to beat Bitcoin or Bitcoin setting up to dominate your sort of calls. Throw it in the chat right now. And before we do that, Join this community, help build the crypto ecosystem. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell down below. And if you're watching over Hit Network, shout out to all of you. Make sure you make your way over to BitLab Academy. Come and follow us, subscribe us. We're up to 5,360 in the matter of about 7 or 8 weeks. Thank you to everybody for being here. We are now about to go through all these different coins and projects that you're shouting out here. I have a bunch of different things set up, but I'm also ready to pivot on the fly. So my mods, shout out to all the mods in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's here. We've got 298 people watching. We only have 172 likes. So get those likes up. We are going to be doing a bunch of TA here, seeing what's preparing for the FOMC meeting. And this is also for 80 point in the future. I'm going to show you strategy. I'm not just going to give you water. I'm going to teach you how to go and get that water. That's what this stream is about, bridging the gap from beginner to pro. I'm not just going to do TA. I'm going to help show you the strategies on how you can be prepared for the markets on days like today when volatility is incoming, when you have a news event that you can plan for, and you can see how you're structuring your portfolio and how you're picking assets to get set up for the best of the best within the market. Because I don't want a bunch of alts in my portfolio. They're not performing better than Bitcoin. It's good to be strategic and tactful in this market, especially when we're talking about the market being somewhere in these market cycle lows. We want to be set up with assets that can absolutely crush it coming up here. So our portfolio is not only gaining in US dollar, it's not only gaining in Canadian dollar or Japanese yen or Chinese yuan or the British pound or the euro. We want our portfolios to be dominating and growing in that, but also in the value of Bitcoin as well. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We have some things to look at here on the charts. First, before we dive into all this TA, we need to see what our setup is, because we always look at what our macro, our midterm, our micro. And before we look at those charts on our actual specific assets, we want to look to what's going on with the Dixie. We want to look to what's going on with the stock market. And we also have to take into consideration that there's big news coming out today, that there's going to be a little bit of a hesitation as to what to do, but we can see where the setups are already in place. We see the Dixie falling, dollar index is falling. We do have support right here. I'm actually going to move this box. Here we go. I'm going to move this box down just a little bit. I'm going to make it a little more narrow, kind of like this. Now, if we look at this, look at how big this trend line of support is. This is a massive trend line of support. We've broken through this. Now we're going to kind of do another version of this. And if you don't know, I do a lot of quick keys here on TradingView. So if you do Option T or on PC, it's Alt T. You can sort of set up. Basically immediate trend lines. So we can see, okay, we got two different sort of trend lines. We already broke through this one. I like to have multiple options as just the likelihood of what's happening in the market. And so that's, okay. So we've got this zone down here that if we lose this, that's going to be a lot of liquidity likely coming back into the market. So let's come out of the dollar index. We see the NASDAQ is pushing higher. Everything's going to be a little bit on pause today. We're not going to look into a lot of this right now. Look at this. Beautiful, by the way, beautiful. If you don't know, beautiful head and shoulders right here. Inverted head and shoulders, I should say. We can see the target on this coming up right here would be up into this region here for the Dow Jones. So we're seeing some bullish preambles, if you will, to where the market likely will go. We're seeing this sort of falling channel here. However, in that falling channel, we also have a rising wedge at the same time. So this is bullish and bearish in the same note. We need to look at what's happening with the markets today. So let's dive into what's going on with all the crypto narrative stuff. So looking at dominance, man, this is setting up potentially for a massive altcoin rally incoming sometime in the near future. Whether or not Bitcoin dominance rejects at this level, if we reject at this level, this means liquidity is pouring much more quickly into altcoins. So that is a bullish saying. We see the CME futures pushing up. This is nice to see coming into the FOMC meeting. Now the question is, are they pushing up to set up for shorts? We are not going to know until we get the more data. But total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is the altcoin market. Look at this. Let's go to auto here. This is on the 3-day. Look at this massive downtrend resistance. Now, in addition to this, we can do a box right here. Where's my? There it is. We can do a, basically we've got this zone, support, resistance. Not only do we have this massive downtrend resistance, now this is going to set up our entire sort of discussion about what's going on with altcoins, okay? Because this is showing that there's a lot of resistance currently for altcoins, but it also is showing and displaying massive opportunity. Look at this right here. Look at this basically massive, just quick fall through right here. This is suggesting also when we break to the upside, we've got a little bit of a zone right above us. I'll put option J, but this zone right here, option J, if you're on PC, that's Alt J, get a horizontal ray. But what we're looking at here is we can do option F for our Fibonacci just to give us a bit of a zone. So price action or the total market cap for altcoins, we can see that there's a likely explosive movement coming when this breaks out to the upside. So this is, I mean, even from this zone here, let's get our measurement tool. This is even this right here. This is a 10% zone right here. Yeah, about a 10% zone. Coming up to the 382 is a 27%. Now, what this would mean, mind you, the total 3 is the altcoin dominance. So if this is rocketing up, this means all those coins that you hold, not all of them, but this means the altcoin market is seeing liquidity pouring into it faster than the price of Bitcoin is moving. So Bitcoin could be, doing 10, 15% gains, but this is showing that there's a lot of liquidity that's pouring in faster to the altcoin market, giving that altcoin seed, giving those explosive gains that we've seen in previous cycles. Now, if we make it all the way up to this next level, this is a 64% gain. So what we are going to do today, we're going to be doing mostly setups on essentially what's going on with the altcoin, basically altcoin setups as compared to Bitcoin. Now, what can you also see right here? We've gone over this chart before, and this is from Rect Capital. And this is what we're talking about. The money flow from fiat into Bitcoin into large caps, mid caps, low caps. This is the larger altcoins, the medium altcoins, and the smaller altcoins. Now, what we can do is we can see, come back to my face, we can come over here to our chart, and we can come over here. I've got a list right here, Bitcoin pairs, and we can go through a bunch of Bitcoin pairs and do TA to see what look, I didn't even notice this. We've got an inverted head and shoulders also on the total 3. Bullish, shut up. I said bullish, shut up. Bullish setup from a structural standpoint of altcoins maybe setting up to rip. Look at this left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Now option T gives us that trend line. To the trend line, boom. Now we can do the measurement tool. Now look at this breakout from the neckline. Where does this go? Right to the golden pocket. It is amazing how these Fibonacci's work when you use them in tandem with other price levels. Now, let's see what altcoins are going to rip. We've already done our prediction about where we think the possibilities for what's happening with Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look at what is going to possibly rip on the Bitcoin, on the altcoin side of the market. And I got some things thrown in here from my mods. So we're going to rip through these. Let's do Ethereum first. Now we're going to come down. We're going to come to the 12-hour, do auto. We're going to see any potential setups. Option T. Okay, so we can see that this has been a lot. Man, this is provide a lot of support and resistance. We're going to go ahead and kind of do this. We'd like to find. Okay. So this looks like it has the most touch points. Now option T, and this is good. If the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing is down, this is look at this is a falling wedge. If this is down, then this likely coming into a support region. Now we can do option F from this area right here to the top, and look at that. Look at that. Price actions coming down right now, not only at support of this channel, but also right into the golden pocket on the fib of this low to this high. This is showing likely support, likely positioning for Ethereum to start to have upward movement. And this movement right here, option, I can do a shift, click on the chart, give me my measurement tool. Just going between this zone and this upper resistance would be a 10% move, meaning this would move about 10%. You would gain 10% over even how fast Bitcoin would move if Ethereum gets a bounce here. Now, coming on, this is going to be fun today. Now we're going to go through a bunch of charts. Cardano. All right, so Cardano. Let's see if we got a level here. Option T. Got a fairly clear level here. Let's do it just like this. Yeah. I want to lose this. I want to lose this way. Come here. You could do it. There we go. So I want to. That'll work right there. Okay. So we got this level. This is bouncing. Now, option T coming here, giving us our sort of resistance. This might be a little bit higher. Let's go to the top. Let's see if we can get something that touches. The point here when you're doing trend lines is you can experiment. Try to find a spot that has the most touches, and that will be your most effective line because you've had the most confirmations that this area on this trend, this angled trend line is has most relevance. So now on this move, what we can do is we can zoom out a little bit. We can see option F from this to the top. Let's kind of come up here to the top. Now this is interesting. We've kind of moved. This is below the 786. Let's go ahead and let's do fib extension. We can kind of get some various on this move right here. It's coming back into that golden pocket from this move right here. But either way, what I'm seeing on this, that looks like the fib's not going to be the most relevant. It's okay. You can adjust course. What we can see here, we have a falling wedge. We're finding a bounce here. Bitcoin is potentially setting up what I'm seeing the questions. Yeah, okay. So, the question was from the mods, what was it? What was the giveaway? It's going to be 3-month membership to BitLab Academy if we reach 200 likes. Keep hitting those likes up. If we hit 275 likes, I will do another 3-month giveaway for BitLab Academy courses. And mind you, we have so much new content that's coming, full brand new experience. So get those likes up, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. All right, let's see. We have Cardano setting up to be running pretty strong against Bitcoin. Now, in addition to all this, what you like to see on a falling wedge is you want, in terms of finding where the breakout will likely be, is you want it to be roughly about past 70% at minimum to start looking for a breakout. We're very, very well past 70%. We're coming up on about the 80 to 85, 90% mark. So what we're looking at right here from this move to the top, that's a 20% move, not in USDT. That's a 20% move against Bitcoin, okay? That means when Bitcoin is ripping, Cardano, when this starts pushing up, and then when this breaks out, this is showing that is going to rip against Bitcoin. Now, on the target here, we can create some levels. Option J. I just get some general levels just from previous price action tops. price action bottoms. This one is a big one right here. You see how this is a bottom and a top? This zone right here is a very important zone for Cardano. This is looking, mind the way, if anybody's confused at this chart, I am looking. You can always look up to the left of any chart of any analyst that you're watching or anywhere you're looking. You always want to take a moment, a patient moment to look at all the information that's available to you on the screen to figure out what data is present so you can understand what you're looking at. This is the Bitcoin, Cardano Bitcoin pairing. So this is the Bitcoin weight against, this is Cardano weight against Bitcoin chart. We're trying to see how we can set up our altcoins, which altcoins are setting up to run going into this next bull cycle. So we could see, I mean, from this move all the way up to, okay, from this move all the way up to this golden pocket, this is a 80, basically nearly 100%. So 85 to 103% move, meaning this is going to move. If the price action breaks out from this bullish structure, mind you, and makes its way up, even if it zigzags, if this makes its way up, to, come here, you dog god nabbit. There we go. This makes its way up, finds its level up to here, whatever path it takes along the way. This is showing that this is going to be 100% move just to this level. Not even really going like this. Option T, the widest point of this falling wedge. This is showing a target being all the way up here, which would be a level of basically a 200% move, 200 to 220% move, just based on this local target. So Cardano is setting up to rip. It's still within this. It very well could still get rejected at this level and come back down. Alts tend to be a little bit slower sometimes than Bitcoin, but that means sometimes it's good to be patient and not jump between moving trains. Get yourself set up, seeing things when they're ready to rip, seeing things that are setting up to rip and be really pushing in to this next bull run. Now, if we look at this on a smaller time frame, we can go ahead auto. We could see, move this out of the way. Okay, we can see that there is a bit of a trend line right here, option T. So there's a bit of a trend line here. It looks like there's still going to be a lot. I mean, this is still a big move from here to here. If this were to come up, that's still a 13% move. So Cardano is sometimes a very slow, makes you be very patient, but when it rolls, it rolls. Let's go into algo. Now, coming into algo, let's come back out to the 12-hour, go to auto. We could see, let's go to the daily actually. Okay, we've got option T. We've got a trend line right here. This one's a little bit more messy. We don't really have a trend line there, but on a smaller time frame, we have, there we go. Smaller time frame. We've got a falling wedge on the 12 daily, just like this, kind of come in here. I think that was a little bit of a fake out. Okay, so we can see here, this is Algorand Bitcoin daily at support. We're seeing this. We're seeing things that are in position to, I mean, this very well could fall through. So we have to be aware of that. But if this finds support here, and you can set stop losses, you can also trade, by the way, an Algorand Bitcoin pairing. You could do that on multiple exchanges, BetGet, Coinbase, whatever exchanges that you're utilizing, you could trade in that pairing as well. If you're specifically trying to gain money against Bitcoin, if you're trying to earn against Bitcoin and Bitcoin's also raising in value over the dollar, it's a win-win situation. Now this move right here, if we come just from this position up here, this is a 40% move to the resistance above it, let alone coming to this next price action top right here. Let's do the Fibonacci, option F, come down right there. Golly, this is just, there's so much setting up for profits going into this next bull run. As long as you have the patience and the wherewithal to identify projects and assets that are meaningful to you or meaningful to your trading strategy. This has to be about your decisions, about your strategies that you pick up from me, that you pick up from Tom Crown, you pick up from Frankie Candles or Investing Bros or Gareth Soloway or CryptoFace. Everybody has their own strategy. Don't use it. You need to set up what the strategy is that works best for you. Piece together something that works with your timeline, with your availability to sit at a trading desk. If you're, if you don't have the ability to sit at a trading desk and trade on the hourly chart and you're in and out of trades, figure out right now, this is why this is so exciting. Setting up for this means we can buy something and hold it. We can set up for a longer term, more macro swing trade. This is what I'm talking about today, setting up for that super cycle. Now, coming back over where's the chart we're at? So Algo looks like it's at support, likely bounce here or sideways action. But Algo is looking good in that regard. Now, XRP ripped yesterday on US dollar value, but look at this. Not only did it rip on US dollar value, it ripped in basically against the Bitcoin trading pair as well. Now, this one, let's go ahead, go to auto. Okay, this one is looking a little, looks like there's more of a zone of support here. Zone of support here. There are potentialities of this dropping further because in terms of this is against a Bitcoin pair, just because of this sort of extended, this is an ugly, hard chart. This is a hard chart to do TA on because of this extended. I mean, really, more than anything, what I'm seeing on the XRP Bitcoin chart is this is accumulation. People are just accumulating, waiting for XRP to truly rip when the SEC case. Now, what we can see on a smaller time frame here, this will be more relevant as to what we're seeing right now. Option T. We got a big trend line here. We got a falling channel right here. So this is, look at this. People took basically XRP ripped. People, it's just basically been falling, take profit, falling, pushing up, taking profit, pushing up into the zone that we're at right now. We can actually do this just more like that. So once this breaks out, I would be looking for. I would be actually looking for, not even having the VPVR on right now, I would be looking for this level right here based on this sort of, I can see the previous, come here. I can see these previous peaks right here. Sorry, bring this down. Previous peaks right here, basically rejections, support, rejections. So in this move right here, coming from this zone, up into where that area would be. That's a 37% move. Option F coming down from the top to the bottom. This is also just below where that golden pocket is. So XRP is one of those ones looking into this next bull run, especially with the news that is likely to come out regarding everything and hopefully a positive decision from the SEC. Now, I did see somebody say, XYZ or XY. I'll do XYO just because I've never done it. Let's see. Okay, this one doesn't look like auto. Okay, this one doesn't have much trading history. So this is going to be harder. This is against Bitcoin, so mind you. This right now is looking like it's basically getting pushed up, sold off, pushed up, sold off, pushed up, sold off. And there's sort of less momentum each time. I'd be a little bit more wary of this, but when this one does pump, it does pump. And it's looking like it's coming into a bit of resistance right now. If this does break this zone, we can see this, each one of these breakdowns, this is something you can always look at. Each one of these breakdowns has been shorter. So we can see this one, and then this one is a little bit smaller. These aren't going to be, I'm just doing this quickly. I'm just showing you this one's smaller. Now this one's smaller. but also the pumps have been smaller. So this one does look like it's coming into resistance, so it very well could break down. It's all going to be determinant on what happens with the news later today. And I don't know this project, if it has, what is XYO? Somebody in chat, let me know what XYO is. There's so many coins, it's hard to keep track of some of the tickers. But this is a bit of a falling wedge, falling channel. So this is setting up potentially for a breakout. The high here would be kind of, the high here would kind of be the target right here, because there's a lot. This would probably be something. Okay, sometimes the price line really bothers me. That'd be 110% move against Bitcoin, but it does look like. Yeah, awesome. So sorry about that. I just had to look there. Yeah, I'm just, this is just something, yeah. I wouldn't really know what to tell you on this chart. On the push up, this next push up, we can see each push up is getting smaller, but this is starting to a little bit round out. But this is the chart. Now going to, let's go to AVAX. Okay, AVAX. Oh, look at that. On support, option J. Now, what we can do here, no, I'm not doing option J. Option T gives me that that trend line. Anyway, it's on a PC, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the option, when I say option for Mac, for you all, the keystroke is Alt. And you can also come up here to the top. You can open this up. I don't want to open it up because last time I did it, I had my somebody try to hack my Coinbase. Go into, you can do shortcuts and go to keystroke settings, and you can see, or you can also Google TradingView hotkeys and show you a map of ways you can very easily, rather than having to come over to the toolbar. Now, everybody, option T, come down. We get the quick trend line there. Look at this descending wedge. If you do it really flat, it looks like it's a descending triangle. This almost looks flat, but okay, look at this. Okay, now if we zoom into this on a little bit more, let's go into the 4 hour. Okay, what we're seeing here is this is bouncing. Now a move, this is again, all these charts I'm looking at are against Bitcoin. We're seeing what coins we can pick that are setting up for bullish moves against Bitcoin. So not only can we win against the US dollar, not only can we win against any essentially national fiat currency, we're trying to win against Bitcoin as well, because that's when you're truly setting up your portfolio for success. Now, this is looking like the bounce, small consolidation, push up from here back to the top side of the range is a 28% move against Bitcoin. Now, if we pull up our indicators, we didn't do this for any of these. Now we're gonna mute most of these. We're just gonna go to sorry, only show last divergence. This will clean up the chart. So we are seeing, okay, we saw some support here. We have this blue wave down here on the significant movement. This shows us that this was a likely trend floor, and this also was resistance. Support. We got a trend print low. We are seeing a little bit of divergences right here. However, with the news today is going to sort of invalidate any sort of bearish divergences. The market's going to do what it wants today based on what the Fed rate hikes are. And this is why you need to pay attention on days like today. This is why you need to go to the Forex Factory calendar. You know, that's right here, Forex Factory calendar. Look at what's going on. Today is Wednesday. Right here. This is the big news and everything happening today. This is what is basically going to drive the narrative today. So as good as you are on TA, we can also see that there are setups available just looking at what's going on in the charts. So this is pushing up against resistance. Let's turn off the moving averages. We can see if this were to break out. I would sort of go for this target right here, option J, and this move from AVAX. If this does break out, that's a 12% move against Bitcoin. Now, in addition to this, if this does break back down, then we have a move, about a 6% move back down. So just on the risk to reward level right there, we're seeing things set up. This is at resistance. So if you're not already in position, then this is a good map for you to see how you can be weighing these things against themselves in the future. Man, we got above 250. Let's keep going. We'll do 2-3 month giveaways for Bitcoin, for BitLab courses. And that will be well within the time frame that the new courses are launched as well. Oh, there it is. My phone was vibrating on the floor. All righty. If you're liking this content, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, join our community where we break down different kinds of content each day, all relevant about what's happening in the markets, but meant to be used and learn from over time. You can tune back into stuff because we break down concepts and how and why and what and where, all the stuff. So looking at AVAX, we see that this would be a great move against Bitcoin. If we were able to break that level as well, coming all the way up to this, that's a 30% move. Option F, our Fibonacci from the top to the bottom. This golden pocket also says the likely sort of hesitation point, if we have one, 10% to 12% move to the upside. Now coming down, let's do Matic. So Matic, a lot of these are going to be looking the same. We've got, look at that, same sort of setup. We have let's go to zoom out a little bit. Same set of setup. Point of control with our VPVR right here, right above this level, which is a lot of price action. Option H says a horizontal line, by the way, but I like horizontal rays so they don't go all the way to the left on my charts. And we can see this is right where that volume gap is, or where that the next large volume node comes in. And this puts a move on Matic if this were to break to the upside, 15% move more than Bitcoin would be moving, or even in the case of coins falling, this works in both directions. But unfortunately, typically with the markets going down, altcoins tend to fall faster than Bitcoin, unless there's some big specific news for an asset, individual asset. That's why you want to be wary about what you're doing with your assets. We are seeing things being a little overheated here on the relative extrema. But again, everything's kind of in a holding pattern right now as to what's going on with markets. Now coming over back here, let's look at Solana. Okay, this is looking a little more bullish because we're having attempts down, deeper attempt, but we're having a little bit of a round right here. Now coming, let's see, getting a bit of a floor, option J, previous support right there. Now coming from this zone, option T, we got, no, that doesn't sort of fit there. This is, all these altcoins against Bitcoin are forming these channels as this market uncertainty has been unfolding. I'd kind of do this like that. So now with this coming back up to that next level, this zone, okay, mute the VPVR. This zone up to this level, which all this previous action is, that's a 30% move against Bitcoin. That's Solana. Now BNB, let's look to BNB. Man, BNB is dropping like a stone. It's like this is against Bitcoin, but let's see where it is at in comparison with price structure, with chart formations. So double click on the chart. For anybody that's new here, when you see all these indicators I have on the bottom, if you're ever trying to close things out and get a better, deeper look, you can just double click on your chart, minimize them, double click again, bring it out. If you have multiple charts, if you press Option, or if you're on PC, Alt, and click on your chart, it puts you back into multi-screen mode or out of multi-screen mode. You turn multi-screen mode on up here on the top right. Quick little tips for everybody. Look at that rounding setup here. Now, where were we at? That's not what here we are. Binance coin. So we have a falling wedge. I can already see right here based on the structure of this upper line here. We are at support on Binance coin, BNB. Now this is, man, this really tested down here. I'm going to actually redraw this. They have the most touches. This is, yeah. So even a move on Binance, on BNB, even a move on BNB back up to support is a 10%, 6 to 10% move. Once we break out of that move, we've got some key levels here. I think this one is a key level. Turn on the VPVR. It was right where the point of control is. Look at that. Now this move option up to that, that's 25% move right there. So we're getting a lot of different setups on all these altcoins that are setting up, looking like they're not only going to run well, but they're going to, what we want to do is build our portfolios to grow in Bitcoin valuation, not just our fiat currency valuation. Now, I'm just going to pause here for a second. Shout out to everybody in chat. We got 270 likes. We got 318 people watching. A few more likes, and we'll be giving away a second, what do you call it? Giveaway. Now, in order to do this giveaway, you've got to come over. This is how we're able to pick who wins. Come over to Twitter right here. Come to Academy BitLab. Come to Academy BitLab, which is our Twitter, and this one from today. Come over here and retweet this. Now that we're getting over 275 likes. Come and retweet this. We're going to do 2 random number generators, and we will count to figure out who the 2 different people are that get 3-month free 3-month membership to BitLab Academy courses. Come over here right now. Retweet this. This is at Academy BitLab. I will put this right in the chat for everybody. Retweet that, and that's how we'll be able to pick the 2 people that get it. Now, I just want to say thank you again, everybody, for being here. And let's go ahead and do a couple more charts. Bitcoin. Let's look at as we're wrapping here. Look, Bitcoin's been pumping. You saw how BNB was dropping on the Bitcoin BNB Bitcoin pairing. Look at this. Bitcoin is pushing up to $28,735, coming up to this level. Now let's turn on our indicators. Let's see what's going on here. Indicators aren't going to be as much help in this specific moment because of all the news that is coming out with the FOMC meeting later today, but it can show us potential sort of market makers and big money trying to move the markets in a certain direction to set up for shorts potentially. Because if they can get the market moving higher before the FOMC determination comes out and the number's negative, then they've set themselves up in a position to take great advantage of high positions to short from. And if we're seeing a lot of divergences and a lot of not natural purchasing power coming in, not health, basically the relative strength index, the momentum indicators, and we have all this, by the way, coming into basically utilizing the BitLab trading stack, which is all of the indicators that we have right here, the hidden volume, relative extrema, significant movement. This relative extrema, by the way, does have a healthy aggregated momentum wave, as well as these bars that stick out that show you unhealthy movement. And what do I tell you right now? Look, we have this bar sticking out of the cloud showing some unhealthy movement, because this may be a little bit of a manipulation trying to get that higher position. However, if we do get good data, a good decision coming from the Fed, it will be irrelevant that this was unhealthy movement and market will rocket. We need to be cautious and careful going into all this. We're not seeing overheated on the BitLab significant movement. This is showing us an aggregate of our momentum indicators, our MACD, stochastics, RSI, showing when things are on aggregate overbought or oversold. When things are overheated, they're overbought. So it doesn't mean things are going to stop. I mean, this whole move was overbought, showing a likely cool off and consolidation. Right here, look at this. It was very underbought, oversold. This blue wave took a while, broke down, provided us the platform to jump off of. Right now, we're seeing neutral. This is gray. Now, what are we seeing? And we got a time for a few more coins here. So let's go ahead through some more coins. Let's do no, that's not where we at. I want to do it here we go. This chart right here. Now let's do, where's Link at? Let's do Link. Boom, 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 boom. Do I have Link on here? Link BTC. Oh, it's already on there. Here, it's right here. So Link, similarly, same sort of setup as before, as a lot of the other coins. So we've got option T, give us that trend line. Let's figure out where it connects. Boom, connects right there. So there's our trend line. We're bouncing off of it. We have a W formation here. Boom, 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 boom. If we're able to break above, look at that. The point of control gave us our sort of neckline there. If we're able to break above that, we've got this next point of control right above us, and that is a 15 to 20%, 15, 16% move to the upside in the valuation of Link against Bitcoin. So we've got so many things setting up here. We've got such a great setup for everything going on within the market. I mean, I'm so excited about today because regardless of what happens with the Fed, there's a narrative has been shifting around Bitcoin, around safe places to store your wealth, safe places to transact. FTX was a failure. Terrible news narrative, right? Sucked for Bitcoin and crypto. Even though it had to do with centralized organizations, FTX was a crypto exchange. Well, now we're having bank failures. It's taken a lot of the speculation or the negative speculation around crypto. It sort of shifted it now towards the traditional fiat systems. Bitcoin is setting up for the win right now. And if Bitcoin wins, the rest of the market will, a good portion of the rest of the market will win as well. We've got 291 likes, 301 viewers. This is incredible. I really appreciate everybody being here. We're going to come over here. We're going to do this giveaway. I got to figure out where that random, there we go. We're going to do this as smaller. We're going to do, let's do, now we're going to pick who gets to two. Let's do a refresh. So 41 people. So, okay, I'll do 0 to 41. 0 to 41. All right. Generate. All righty. Number 33. That means 7 back from the bottom, right? Or I can't do math right now. Let's see. All right. 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33. Is that what the number was? 33? Yeah. 33. That was BME Crypto. BME Crypto, you got 3-month membership. Actually, I need to see this right here. 3-month membership to BitLab Academy. Now we're going to do one more. All righty, let's do it. Oh, man, all right, number 24. We're counting this one. We're making this one exciting. All right, let's do it. Number 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Nick. Let's get it. I'm getting a lot of dings in my ear. All right. So Nick, Ben's Mafia 21, you get the second one. And let's see. We got over 300 today. Let's do one more, one free month. We will do random number generator. Retweet. Let's do a small number. 37. All right. That actually makes it easy. We'll count back. 43. So let's start at 43, 37, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 30. Alex Green, I'm going to take you. I'm going to back this one up because you are a staff member. And so we are going to do it to make it fair. We're going to do a free month for Karen Swigart Harris and Nicholas Maimari. All righty, right there. Free month for you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I didn't realize I didn't have my screen shared. I was scrolling through counting all the ones. Terribly sorry for that. But we got a bunch of names on here. I took screenshots of each one that were the names, but it's Karen Swigart Harris a month, Nicholas Maimari a month. It was also BME crypto was 3 months. Taking all these screenshots. And then who was the last one? I have it screenshotted. I can go back and listen. I'll go back and listen on my, yeah. So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for an absolutely amazing stream. I really appreciate everybody being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. We're gonna be doing more giveaways as the time goes on, getting people involved, getting in our Discord community, get involved. We got some great stuff. If you have not yet, come over, check out BitLab. Oh, this is the new BitLab Academy that's coming. You see it's almost here, but come over to bitlabacademy.com, sign up for the newsletter. You can also be entered to win access, free month access to the courses and the indicators, as well as getting updates as to all the stuff coming to BitLab. And then come over here to indicators. If you enjoy the indicators, you can get more information about those right here at bitlabacademy.com/indicators. And if you'd like to see some tutorials on these, you can also come to live here playlists. You can in BitLab Academy, and you can come to view full playlists. And there's basically right here, best indicator for traders. There's a lot of information right there, but also on the indicators page, you can watch the BitLab Trading Suite tutorial and strategy video. That's a very basic one, and there's a lot more new content coming out very soon. I appreciate you. There's a lot more content in the Discord as well with training content for people that have the indicators. So big love to everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Be patient around that 2 o'clock time. You know, it's about 2.5 hours from now. Put your comments down below if you're watching later. Let us know. How are you feeling? How are you trading this market? You bullish, you bearish? And again, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out, and ding that bell. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you in tomorrow's stream. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here again. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Wanna do this again and again. Hit that like button.